Your Excellency, the Foreign Minister of Islamic Republic of Iran, members of the Iranian and Pakistani delegations, representatives of the media, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and Khush Amdeed. I am delighted to welcome my brother, the Foreign Minister of Iran, and his accompanying delegation to Pakistan. We took office nearly 15 months ago, and one of my first overseas visits was to Iran in June 2022. Today, as we near the end of our term in office, I look back with a great deal of pride and satisfaction at the progress that we have achieved during this time. As a small reflection of our efforts was the joint inauguration of the Mandpashin border marketplace and electricity project by the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the President of Iran on the 18th of May 2023. This was not merely a brick and mortar project. It was instead an affirmation of our collective commitment to find collaborative solutions for the benefit of our two peoples. We consider this as a first step towards strengthening our multi-dimensional cooperation, especially in the economic domain. Today, countless schools, hospitals, and households in Gwadar are run on electricity being provided by Iran. Proposals for the expansion of our cooperation in trade and economy, energy and agriculture, and arts are underway. We have already taken concrete steps to this end. Earlier today, I and my counterpart witnessed the signing of a number of important documents: the five-year trade cooperation plan between Pakistan and Iran, 2023 to 2028, which inter alia sets a bilateral trade target of US $5 billion, prioritizes removing impediments on bilateral trade, finalization of the free trade agreement, and the establishment of institutional linkages between our respective private sectors. Protocol on bilateral economic consultations encompassing the rich and in-depth sectoral discussions held between our sides yesterday, and the protocol on the third meeting of the Joint Investment Committee between Pakistan and Iran on the issue of bilateral investments. I am confident that the steps we are taking today will chart the course for a long-term, durable economic partnership between our two countries in the months and years ahead. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I had a very detailed and extensive discussion with my counterpart, encompassing the entire gauntlet of bilateral relations. We also reviewed regional developments and our cooperation in the international arena. Pakistan and Iran enjoy a complete convergence of views on all issues of mutual interest. We believe that our prosperity and development is firmly intertwined with peace and stability of our neighborhood and the region. Pakistan espouses a vision for greater regional integration based on enhanced trade and connectivity. This is fully aligned with President Raisi's policy of neighborhood first. To this end, we have agreed to prioritize operationalization of the 5 remaining border markets by the end of this year. We also discuss ways and means to leverage our unique strategic location as a conduit between South, Central, and West Asia. I and the Foreign Minister agreed that the ECO is unequivocally uniquely placed to play this role. As founding members of the organizations, we will work with other ECO states towards achieving this goal. The plight of prisoners and fishermen in our respective jails also came up during our talks. We have decided to repatriate all sentenced prisoners in respective jails as per provisions of existing agreements between the two sides. We have also decided to release all fishermen in custody in Pakistan and in Iran, and to waive off any fines imposed by them to release their vessels. The two sides will exchange lists of prisoners to put into practice this understanding expeditiously. We also reaffirmed our commitment to keep our common border as one of peace and friendship. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I discussed with the Foreign Minister the grave situation in Indian illegally occupied Kashmir, and we are grateful to the Iranian leadership for its firm and consistent support to the legitimate cause of the Kashmiri people. Regarding the situation in Afghanistan, Pakistan and Iran agreed to continue their active engagement with the view of advancing peace and stability in Afghanistan and to promote the well-being and prosperity of our Afghan brothers and sisters. We also agreed to continue our cooperation to counter Islamophobia and anti-Muslim hatred. In conclusion, before I hand the floor to my brother, let me say that I consider it a unique privilege to have had this opportunity to contribute towards strengthening the Pakistan-Iran relationship, a relationship which is rich and which has a rich and proud history, but more importantly, a bright and exultant future. I thank you.
As you have mentioned, Iran and Pakistan have very old and rooted relations, and this relation could create peace and stability in the region. I want to ask you about the recent insultations to Holy Quran, and as you have mentioned in your pre-speech, we had some insultation to Holy Quran recently in Western countries. What is your aspect, and how do you think Iran and Pakistan can cooperate to fight against Islamophobia?
Thank you for your question. There's been an unfortunate series of Islamophobic acts, Islamophobic events across Europe, and not just isolated events, but repeated events, not just repeated events, but premeditated provocations. In my view, these are not only hate speech, but would endanger provoking violence. And my counterpart and myself have spoken extensively on this topic over the phone whenever such an incident has occurred. Pakistan, as a representative of the OIC at the Human Rights Council, passed a historic resolution for the first time from the UN Human Rights Council, not only condemning this act, but calling for action to this end. Earlier this year, on March 15th, or in and around March 15th, we, for the first time on the United Nations level, in the UN General Assembly, again in our capacity as the organization OIC chairman, we held the first ever event in the General Assembly to mark the day for combating Islamophobia, in which not only members from the OIC, but each and every member state of the United Nations were not only present, expressed their views, condemned, and for the first time we took the issue of Islamophobia, the issue of the desecration of the Holy Quran to this level of the United Nations. Unfortunately, despite our repeated protests, Iran's repeated protests, the protest of much of the Muslim world, we've seen a continuation in these actions. Recently, a couple of days ago, we held the extraordinary session of the CFM, the Council of Foreign Ministers of the OIC, through which we released a very powerful joint statement of all Muslim countries, not only again condemning these acts, but calling for action against the perpetrators of said acts, and expressing solidarities with the countries that have taken action against the offending countries. To this end, I believe that Pakistan and Iran must continue to work together to raise this issue at international fora, to agitate on this issue in international fora, and to advocate for the banning of such provocative actions, as is the case here in Pakistan or in Iran. Not only is it obviously illegal to desecrate the Holy Quran in the Islamic Republic of Iran or the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, it is also illegal. It is also against the law to desecrate the Holy Bible or to desecrate the Torah. This is because we do not believe in such actions and such provocative actions. They're not only illegal because they're illegal according to our law. We have no space for these acts in our culture or in our religion, and these are the points that we emphasize with our counterparts from European countries.